How's it going, Farmer Life family?
We're at the beach.
We're at the world famous Manuel Antonio National Park. We're here. Our professional film person is my sister, Kim Calvi.
Hi.
We're gonna be blogging her in a couple of minutes, and she's gonna talk to you about her experience this week. She's been here visiting.
We're not gonna talk about the park. We're actually gonna talk about our bare feet.
Barefoot walking, yes.
Are they in the film?
Okay, wait a minute.
Right here, right here.
That's a good looking pair right there.
Yeah. And it's something that I've been doing.
See how these are like leather under here.
Whoa. Yeah, I've worked on my feet.
Man,
nice.
barefoots all the time.
And I tell you what. I started probably about 2.5, 3 years ago barefooting, and it was long after the sun gazing practice, but I thought barefooting would, give a lot of energy as well. And it was just sort of intuition that got me doing that, taking my shoes off. And then more and more, I started to learn that there was actual health benefit to it. And man, it's amazing. Some of the things I've learned is that actually when you barefoot walk, the earth is like an electromagnetic battery, and it pulses at about 9.6 hertz. And it comes up through the reflex points through your feet. We've all heard of reflexology. So that electromagnetic energy, if you will, comes up through the bottom of your feet and stimulates all the muscles, ligaments, organs, acupressure points, everything. We've all heard of reflexology, so I mean it's like natural reflexology. You don't need to pay $60, $70 for a reflexology session. Just walk barefoot. And I started with no one has them on right now, but my sister has them. I started with the 5 fingers, which is the Vibram 5 fingers, which is actually what I would do is I would walk barefoot for a little while, and then when my feet got tired, I'd put my Vibrams on. And over time, my feet got so strong that I no longer needed the Vibrams anymore. But
and Vibrams help to spread your toes. Like orthopedics,
yes,
recommend them because they help you kind of stand in your natural posture. Shoes do this to your toes, and that's not healthy for us.
Right.
They're in the bag if you want me to grab them.
Right.
The majority of our guests show up with Vibrams, so I have no doubt everyone listening knows what Vibrams
right,
are.
Absolutely.
Now here's the thing about Vibrams. They have rubber bottoms. And so do the majority of the shoes and flip-flops. And
True, but they're a really good transitional shoe because many of us, because we've been wearing shoes for so many years, the hundreds of muscles and ligaments and tendons and bones in our feet have grown weak. So the Vibrams are really good to develop those, and then when you feel called to do so, take off the Vibrams for 30 minutes to an hour a day. You don't have to walk barefoot for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it is a certain health benefit if you go to a park, wherever it is that you live, you go to a dirt, sand, gravel would be the best. Any kind of earthen material would be the best because it's more conductive. Cement works fine, it's conductive.
Asphalt is not conductive, and wood is not conductive.
Right. But if you do that for just 30 to 45 minutes a day, make that your exercise, whether you're barefoot walking or when you start to really develop your feet, you can barefoot run. You go to barefootrunner.org or .com, you can see guys actually run marathons barefoot, and they swear by it, and they never have injuries. They never have an injury to their ankle, to their knee, to their hip, because they have a different stride. Let me show you that stride. I'll show you that stride. When you barefoot run, you hit ball. You're a ball strike first. Now, if you look at my feet, now I've been barefooting now for a number of years. My feet naturally spread out. A few years back, they didn't. My feet were really messed up. I had real bad bunion problems on my 2 big toes. I had a lot of arthritic pain. I needed cortisone injections in the knuckles of my big toes. Now, with the raw food diet and a whole lot of barefoot walking, I don't have any more pain. So look at the stride here. Take a look at the fulcrum, the weight distribution every time you hit. Okay? So now the Achilles tendon, which is a very powerful tendon, by the way, gets activated, and so it's using the Achilles tendon as like a spring when you're hitting ball foot first. And then the knee and the hip are not straight, they're bent, so it sort of diffuses all the pressure every time you hit ball foot first. Now, when you're wearing shoes, those big thick rubber soles, you don't know the hit. You have no idea where you're hitting. Many people hit heel first. Now, look at my leg. It's straight.
Knees locked.
There's no distribution of pressure at all every time you come down. So now the knee's straight, the hip is straight, the lower back is in a weird position. Look at all the problems. And then people say, don't run anymore. Never run, it's bad for you. Not true. You got to run correctly. And if you use the ball hit strike first, you're fine. And practice barefooting will actually improve you striking ball first. May not necessarily mean you run barefoot, but less is better in a shoe, that's for sure. If you run, less is better. The 5 fingers. I know Nike makes a shoe now that's got very little sole. Less is better. And then of course the book Earthing that has come out. My wife wants to tell you a little bit about it.
I'm actually almost finished the book. It's called Earthing. It's by Clive Ober, and it's just really interesting.
It's a great book.
And he refers to how the Earth is a 6 sextrillion metric ton battery that's providing free electrons, and that earthing, or barefoot walking, or grounding yourself, the practice of grounding yourself, can reverse most all inflammatory conditions because of these free electrons. So we all know about free radicals, and you want to eat antioxidants to neutralize the free radicals. Well, electrons neutralize free radicals. So when you're walking barefoot, when you're sleeping on a grounding pad, the electrons are just absorbed into your body and neutralizing this inflammatory response in our body. So barefoot walking is anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, reverses degeneration, reverses disease, reverses trouble people have with sleeping. I mean, you think about it, when we were in our natural state, we used to sleep on the ground. Now we sleep elevated on beds at the 5th story of a skyrise, really far away from the earth. And the sleep is 8 to 12 hours is really great opportunity to get lots of hours of being grounded.
Yep.
And he's developed something called a grounding pad. That's a conductive sheet that you lie on top of, and it's grounded into the earth. And so all those hours of sleeping can reverse any pain and inflammation you might have in your system. We've not really done the earthing pads. I think the idea of using these earthing pads under your computer, under your feet when you're working on the computer, is a great idea for the modern world, because people spend so much time on the computer, and the EMFs are so destructive, and you don't even know how much exposure you're getting with all the cell phones and the computers. Well, scary. So this great technology just based on earth principles. And in his book too, he talks a lot about when you're flying an airplane, right, you're 30,000 feet up, so you're way away from the earth, and just get back to the ground, walk 30 minutes, 20 minutes barefoot in the grass, and it'll really help to eliminate the stress and help with the jet lag and get you grounded again and normalized from traveling.
Yep.
It's a good book. I recommend it. Tons of testimonials.
Yeah.
Tons of testimonials. And for me, I've been resistant to barefoot walking because I have so many difficulties with my ankles and my knees. So we have a lot of grass on our farm. That's really where I've started with barefoot walking, and lately it's all I do now is barefoot walk, unless we're taking a really long walk, and then I might switch between barefoot and using orthotics in my shoes. But for me, I've already noticed improvements in my joint pain from just having hour or 2 hours of walking barefoot around my farm.
Excellent. Also, farmer lifers, anybody taking a look at this blog and thinking, okay, I want to come visit them. We're about energy, plugging you back into what you are, and that's part of nature. On our farm, the air is pure. The sun is unbelievable. It's very relaxing, very healing space because all the food there is organic, the raw food. But the one thing we also want you to plug you back into is what you are, and that's energy at its rudimentary core. So start barefoot walking, because if you're coming to our place on a healing protocol, I'm going to recommend that you wear shoes as little as possible, that you start to develop your feet, and that you start to use the earth to your advantage, that huge battery to your advantage, so that you can re-energize your body. So it's definitely something to think about. All right, till next time, Farmer Life family. We love you.